some great info today about how you can get $50,000 for a grant. And I'm having a few technical difficulties. I want to bring one of my lenders on here. If you guys can bear with me for just a moment, I am trying to get them back in. Okay. Hello, Veronica. Man, here we go. Man, technical difficulties are something else, right? Okay, I'm gonna try and get myself out of the glare there. Here. Okay. Just let me know when you're ready. We can get rolling. You are in. You are in. You are good. I mean, you're kind of going in and out, though. Like maybe you're touching the camera off button. Okay, no worries. We can wait. There is one viewer on here. I hear you, and it's like a gray light that I'm seeing, but I don't see your actual camera. Maybe just hit the camera button one more time. Okay. Not yet. I will wait though, because I would love for everyone to see you and meet you. Is it the angle of your screen, or did you hit share screen? I see your camera going on. Okay. What's this? Maybe we should try your phone instead. Oh, you're on your phone. Okay. Oh, if it's on your phone, you might need to switch directions. Like maybe it's viewing forward instead of reverse. Hmm. Okay. Sure. Sure. No worries. Okay. Okay. Oh, now I see you actually. You're just facing forward. Your camera's just going in front of you. Yeah. Right now you're facing your computer screen at the moment, so you'll just flip it around. There you go. I see you. All right. So we'll just get into it without further ado. I know you have about 15, 20 minutes before you got to go be somewhere and have an appointment. So thanks so much for coming on the show. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just gonna kind of get the show going here. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter right now. There's maybe just 3 people watching, but I'm sure more will watch later. So this is my show right now. It's called The Real Estate of Your Life on YouTube. And so I'm happy to introduce Veronica Barron here with City National. She's a lender with them. So not only can she process the loans for you, but she wants to talk with everybody about an amazing grant program they have here. So I'm just kind of introducing it, Veronica, just so people know when they hop on that this is specifically a video geared toward grants and buying residential properties. So would love for you to get into your background and share more of who you are. If you would just start off with explaining, why we're on the call today and what we're sharing about, because it's going to help a lot of people. And then I would love to hear more about your background as a lender and what you think is going on with the market as well. That's great. Hmm. Hmm. Right. Hmm. That's not bad either. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. I love that. Nobody wants that. No need to include it. Mhm. Mhm. Right. And how much a year on the loan is that, Veronica, typically? Yeah. Mhm. Oh, yeah, I mean, if you're, if you're looking at more than just a single family home, or if you're looking at a higher price range, it really compounds, uh, right? Yeah. Mhm. It's true. Mhm, mhm. It's true, it's true. And I put out like a little picture on Instagram, a post about how the bank's paying you 50,000 to go buy in LA. And the sentiment that I still get, at times from people is it's so expensive out there. If you're leveraging and like if you feel like your income doesn't meet like the typical single family mortgage and taxes, insurance, expenses, then the beautiful thing about the multifamily is that you have other rentals, you have other units that are paying your mortgage. And if you're single, like myself, so like I'm gonna be likely working with you, Veronica. Absolutely, I'm looking at properties right now, actually in LA. There was one in Inglewood that was uh, not permitted on some of the work, so I didn't really think that was a good option. Um, but like running the numbers at 50,000 um, down, or you're able to do 5% on a $1 million purchase, correct? Mhm.
Penalties and things of that nature. So what we did is we used that
Oh,
50.
Veronica.
Yes. Sorry.
We just had a technical error. I think we're live together now.
Oh,
I am so sorry.
okay.
um, I know I'll be able to record this whole thing and edit it, so we'll be able to kind of go back in. There were only two people watching it, so you can continue where you're at. But uh, I think we're good now. I just switched it to live preview, but I just want to be cautious and time sensitive on this. I'm so sorry. It's a new technology I'm working with.
That's okay. So just continue where I was at.
Yeah, I do have a friend actually who's helping me with making sure this technology goes through. So
Okay.
it's my first time doing multi-streaming.
Okay.
Um, Let me see if it's going through or not. Here, hold on. Let me see here. I don't know. Maybe my friend was actually on having a technical difficulty herself.
That's a
Let me
possibility.
Okay. I just checked my Facebook. We're good. We're good. Okay. Keep rolling.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like I mentioned, I'm working with a buyer right now, very limited funds, some funds in their 401k, and they were very hesitant about taking any money out of their 401k. So, with the fifty
Mhm.
thousand grant, what we were able to do is we're able to grab $35,000 of that money, put that towards a down payment, and then use $15,000 of it for buying down the interest rate and closing costs.
Mhm.
Reality,
Right. Right.
yeah, in reality, they're coming out of pocket. I think we ended up, yeah, they were going to come out of pocket. I think it was like $8,500 to buy a beautiful house. I think their purchase price is at 850. So 800,
Mhm.
only paying $8,000 closing costs, down payment, and everything. That's pretty amazing, if you ask me. I mean, this is a great opportunity to get into the market if you haven't had the opportunity in the past because of
Mhm.
not having enough down payment. This is definitely kind of a way to get rid of those, I guess you can say, excuses.
Excuses. Everyone's got an excuse, right?
Right, and I mean, a lot of times they're legitimate. Don't get me wrong. Like,
Mhm.
but a lot of time it's just fear based. It really is. A
Mhm.
lot of people are just scared of the unknown because they feel like it is a big responsibility, which it is. It is a big responsibility, but so is paying rent, right? And
Ooh, yeah. Rent
and
doesn't pay you back.
and actually, you have less flexibility paying rent than you do a mortgage. Because if you think about it, your payment is due on the first for rent, right? And if
Mhm.
you go past the fifth, you're late, they'll start charging you late fees. You'll get evicted like right away.
By the
There's,
15th.
yeah, there's like no
Mhm.
period for late rent. If you have a mortgage,
Mhm.
right? You're paying on a mortgage, you come into you
Mhm.
find, well, not only do you have a grace period till the 15th on your mortgage, right? But you also have the ability of potentially, depending on your situation, you could defer the payment, you could go into forbearance, you can do a modification,
Mhm.
a lot of things that you can do. So the fact that people are scared, I'm actually more scared of renting than I am of. I mean, like,
I am too. I am too. I mean, I have seen stories of landlords increasing month to month at in non-rent controlled areas to 70% of the base rent increase. So like I saw someone in a studio, their month to month what because they didn't renew was went from 2,300 to 3,700.
yeah, I mean, it's
That's insane.
and how can you really afford to pay from 2,300 to 3,700? I mean, that's a significant
It's true.
increase. Which I mean, your
Mhm.
payment on a mortgage is not going to increase.
And you can't refi a rent payment. You can't cash out on a rent payment. You can't HELOC on a rent payment.
And
There's
I'll tell you what, I've never heard of a millionaire renting their property ever. Like
Mhm,
as they being in a rental, they always own,
mhm,
and that's the basis of building wealth too. So it's not just
mhm.
your home and having that stability and having the comfort of being able to own your own property. It's also building wealth. It's the foundation of it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, with building wealth, like just from myself as a consumer standpoint, if I was looking at this program and I can get $50,000 today, that's 50,000 in equity that I'm going to have in my net worth. Your net worth is, what is the value of your assets, your expenses, your liabilities, your debt. And just by utilizing a program with a grant, getting grants is hard to get, right? In real life. I mean, if you're trying to get a grant for a business and or education, you have to go and write and apply for that grant in a way that actually requires you to show you're the top person in that particular arena, or for them to give you the grant. But this is particularly a stimulant to get people to buy. So when you buy with a $50,000 grant, you're going to be your net worth's about to go up 50,000. Correct?
Exactly. Exactly. If you're using it all as a down payment, your net worth is going to affect your bottom line immediately because that's going straight into the equity that you are going to have in that property. And that's not even including the increased value of
Hmm.
self. That's just,
Hmm.
let's just say it doesn't increase for whatever reason, which we know in California year after year it's increased. We bought this property that we're in right now in January, and it's
Hmm.
increased. I think it's like 250,000. So I mean,
250,000 since January.
since January.
That's pretty wild. That's pretty amazing. I know a lot of people are going to say, "Well, we're at the height of the market, so I don't know if I'm going to get that kind of appreciation." And that's where, as having the right real estate team to negotiate, they come in, they find you either a value add in a good neighborhood, or you find something that is more turnkey, but you also are seeing more people moving into that neighborhood. You're seeing development in that nearby location. So, like even in Santa Ana, Related, I don't know if you heard of Related Development. They're a big development firm. They're about to pour $3.5 billion into Santa Ana the next 2 years. Um, and that location has seen maybe a lot of values lower than Costa Mesa and Orange, in our area, because those are considered the nicer areas or have less crime in certain pockets. But there's definitely certain ways that you can look at appreciation on a longer term basis, not just in the 9 months since January either, or 11 months.
I mean, and it all depends, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, you def- we definitely were lucky, right? Because it just so happened to be that there's this area, this property was, I think, to be quite honest, undervalued when we purchased it. So we were just very lucky to be able to have gotten into the property. Um,
Hmm.
so knowing the areas that are ready to grow, knowing that, and then at the same time, you know, knowing that your first property, the first property that you're going to buy, is not your forever home, right? It's not your dream home.
Correct. Absolutely.
The home that you build. It's going to be the home that you're going to make yours. Most of them are going to need a little bit of work, and with that little bit of work, if you're willing to do it, if you're willing to invest the time and money into it, then that in itself is going to also appreciate. Knowing where to buy,
Mhm.
where your demand is, right? Where you're going to have new development, new shopping centers, new, so all of that, which your realtor and John is amazing at doing things like that. So that's super important to make sure that you're represented well, and that exactly where you want to be, and then they can advise you on, like, hey, this area, even though it doesn't seem like much right now, is going to happen, and so
You don't see it today when
right, you
you
don't see.
put that seed in the ground. You don't see it today, especially in California real
Yeah.
estate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, there's areas, like, I had some customers, like, buy, maybe it was, I don't know, like 3 years ago, out in, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Marietta, that area.
Marietta, near Temecula. Hmm.
Yeah, out in that area. And I mean, 3 years ago, they bought a beautiful house for like 400,000, and now their house is worth like 650,000. So, I mean, it just really, and nobody really wanted to live, not that they didn't want to live in Menifee. It was just not a lot of stuff going on in Menifee. And for a young couple like themselves, they didn't want to live there. They really didn't. But
Yeah. Yeah.
now they see it and they're just like, oh my God, this is the best decision that we made, now that it's being, developed even further,
Hmm.
and they see the equity that they now have in their home. So, I mean, it really depends on on what you want out of it. And um, as far as the
Mhm.
lending part, the program itself is amazing. Being able to get into a property with very minimum funds, out of pocket funds,
Yeah.
or sometimes no out of pocket funds, is amazing opportunity to be able to get yourself into a property and own now. Because I mean, right now, that's another thing that I tell a lot of my buyers, because they're like, "Well, I'm gonna wait until the interest rates drop." But here, what's what happens when the interest rates drop? A lot of buyers start entering the market, right? So now you're
Yep. Everybody and their mother and their
right.
grandmother.
Back in 2021, 20, yeah, 2021, I would say it was like
Mhm.
the hype of the market. And that time, there's people, I helped a customer myself, paid $100,000 over asking price because they wanted that property. And was the property worth it? No, it wasn't. Not back then. Of course, now it is. Um,
Mhm.
but back then, you're going to price yourself out of the market. So if right
Right.
you can buy it if interest rates do drop, because I think everybody kind of got used to like, oh well, my my friend, my coworker, my this, my that, interest rates were at a 3.25. That was not normal. I've been in
That's
the
not normal.
for almost 30 years,
The
major my.
banks can't even pay their bills right now because they did that. Probably. I mean, so they're. I'm not saying they can't. They're not. I'm not saying they're going broke, but when you have a 3% interest rate return on your money, and inflation requires 7 to 8%, you're losing money.
Absolutely. And I mean, a lot of times it's, shorter term loans, most of them. Um, at the time, the cost of money wasn't as expensive. Economy, I can see already, if you look at the market, economy is doing better, if you ask me. At least, at least the investments that I've done, it's definitely better. So, are interest rates going to drop potentially? But then that's when
Mhm.
you turn around and you refinance, and by that time, you've already
Mhm.
earned some equity because interest rates drop, values go up, and vice versa.
I
So,
like that. I like that. Interest rates drop, values go up. I mean, if you're losing out on the opportunity for the past 4 years, that's uh, potentially 50,000 to 200,000 in equity for these residential loans. Which like and like we shared before, you don't have to make your first property doesn't have to be your dream property, right? So like for me, for instance, I'm planning on doing a fourplex possibly. So if you got a couple units, if you have sorry for the background noise, if you have a couple of units that are producing income for you, that's going in your net worth as long as the property stays at its value. So if you have three one bedrooms at 2,200 a month each, you're looking at 6,600 a month of additional income to your net worth, to your finances.
right,
Right.
that's that's your well, depending on what your mortgage payment is, you could
Mhm.
potentially have your tenants pay your mortgage, and you're free. It just why
Yeah,
why not have somebody else pay for your mortgage? I mean, a lot of people by paying rent, they've paid somebody else's mortgage off. Now let somebody
true.
else do.
Well, let me ask you this question before you might have to go. But the two questions I have for you, where would interest rates be at if someone wanted to buy today? And then if I was buying a multifamily property, because I kind of we kind of focus on multifamily, so I really want to reach that crowd. If someone was buying multifamily today, why wouldn't their tenants move out and do the same thing?
Because a lot of times, one, I think the biggest one is fear. That's why they haven't done it themselves.
Mhm.
Is the fear, the lack of knowing what the resources are out there, and not having the time, or not having the will to be able to go out there and research the information. The other would be credit. A lot of times that I
Got
would
it.
would be the number two reason why people don't buy, is because their credit is not up to par where we need it to be to have them qualify for something like this, which is
Mhm.
not a ask. I mean, our credit score right now, um, that we require for this program is 660. But even then, some
Mhm.
people can't meet that requirement. So do I help them work on that and achieve that? Absolutely. I had somebody that had a was it 625 credit
Mhm.
score? No, I'm sorry. It was a 635. Six,
660 can get up there for some people, for sure.
we did it in 30 days.
Wow.
In 30 days, we got them up to 660. And I mean, it was a little bit of coaching
Mhm.
from and them executing. And that
Mhm.
was pretty much all that had to happen. It wasn't huge. They didn't have to go pay for, credit counseling company. They didn't have to do any of that. It was it was simple, it was straightforward, and we got them to where they needed to be in 30 days. And
That's
right now they're in escrow as well, right?
mhm.
They're in escrow. So it's
That's great.
yeah, I mean it's
Yeah.
being able to help so many people through this program that otherwise would have not been able to reach their goal.
That's amazing. And where do you think interest rates would land right now for anybody with good credit right now?
There's too many variables to tell you what the interest rate would be. I can tell you that I quoted somebody that was putting 20% down. They were doing a $600,000 loan, and they had really good credit. I quoted them at a 6.2, and that was
6.2.
today's interest rate. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Six,
Okay. Okay. Like let's just say for me, if I was doing 5% down and I have 770 credit.
let me see. Give me a second, 'cause
I hope I'm not making you late for your appointment.
and it just really depends on it really just depends on the loan amount, and there's a lot of variables, right? So I'm just gonna kind of put something out there as far as the interest rate goes. um,
Mhm.
but again, there's a lot of variables, and the 6.2 was using some of the money, the grant money, to buy down the interest rate. On this one, let's just say
Mhm.
it was a $425,000
Mhm.
purchase, doing 5% down, um, and you're looking at a high credit score. So using some of the money
Oh, we're having some connection error. Veronica, you still with me?
about that.
Back,
So
you're
you're
back now, Veronica.
sorry, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Little static's going on though.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's another call was coming in. Can you hear me?
You are getting a little electronic feedback right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's
It's
the call
okay.
that was coming just
No
not like
worries.
yeah. I think they hung up. Okay. So if you're looking at 5% down, you're looking at an interest rate of a 6.65. The annual percentage rate would be at a 7.1.
For
So
665. I'm getting a little bit of the feedback right now. Um, is it my mic or
I think so, because every time you talk, it does give me feedback as well.
okay? Why don't I take out this mic?
And I do apologize, but I have to drop. I have to go to my next appointment.
It's okay. We got everything kind of hashed out on this one. Maybe we can do another one at a very convenient time for both of us, and we can go a little more in depth on the subject matter at some point. But thank you so much for taking the time with me, Veronica. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes, we can definitely schedule another time, and hopefully, something doesn't get put on my calendar at the last minute. I apologize for that.
No, no worries, no worries. So there you have it, everybody. Veronica Barron here. I'll definitely get her contact info out on these platforms. Uh, and if you guys want to reach out to me directly, we can do a three-way email or three-way phone call as well. All right, thanks so much, Veronica.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
You too. Bye.
I'm just taking off right now here. Okay, let me just plug my mic back in here. Okay, guys. So let me get back to. Let me just remove her here. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so I'm just going to go over kind of the points here and why this is going to be one of the game changers for the housing market. Whether you're in Los Angeles, whether you're in any part of California, everybody loves California. Everybody loves the weather here. Everybody loves um, what is available and offered here with the lifestyle. And like we were talking about with where people want to live, and people kind of going to the outskirts, going to Menifee, going to Temecula. People want to be in places where they can enjoy life, or if there is development going on, it's retail, it's places you can be social. We're human beings. We need connection. Like, people aren't just going to go buy a house out in the middle of the desert unless it's in Palm Springs or Indio, or it's in a location where there's connection. There's not going to be demand. Nothing against people that buy out in the desert, of course. I love you all, love everybody. That's what Jesus commands us to do, right? So just to kind of reiterate, this is a grant program from City National Bank. Again, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes. They are offering $50,000 for parts of LA County. You got to get the map here from us. They're offering $20,000 in many other areas of Southern California. Now, there is some requirements that I'm going to get into with Veronica when we have more time. There is a requirement of the census tract being minority based. So, regardless whether you like that or not, whether you think that's appropriate or not, how City National schedules that, it's got to be 50% minority, nothing less, in the census tract. So that's a little more complicated. I can get into that with people on a more detailed personal call. Now, the key game changer, which I'm going to kind of circle this all in, bring it all back in, is that the program works for 4 units. Before, with Bank of America, you'd be using 17,000 max on a single family. And the My Home Assistance program is giving you the full down payment coverage on a single family as a second loan. That's another program. Now, the only distinction here is that this money, you don't have to pay it back, and it's up to 4 units. Now, there's a difference, ladies and gentlemen, about doing 4 units versus single family. 4 units, multifamily is going to help you create generational wealth. If you're buying a single family, you're buying a condo. I even had a phone call with a gentleman today. He really wanted his son to be able to get a condo once they have the money for it, all cash. When you're buying a single family asset, a condo, the variability of the value can change dramatically. We saw in '08, those values did change and drop dramatically because of just the world crashing. But in multifamily, you see a little bit less of a drop, a crash, because it's more based on interest rates. It's more based on cap rate. It's more based on you being able to pay your expenses, pay your interest on your mortgage, pay your utilities, taxes, all that with your renters in place. People are always going to be renting. People are not always going to be in position to buy. Even if you have this program, you have to have the credit. You also likely have to have reserves as well, which we'll get into on the next call. And Whether you need that one bank statement, you can have multiple bank statements. You can have it in. I don't think you can have it in crypto, but maybe if there's a bank statement from Coinbase, maybe that's where you can kind of make that up. I don't know yet. We'll see. Um, but the whole number one thing is if you want to get into this program before everybody else finds out about this, before the market's flooded with people that are going to be using a $50,000 grant in Los Angeles, because we haven't talked about a cap limit. We haven't talked about how many people can get this program. We haven't talked about how many people can get the 20,000 in other areas of California. And so the time limit, it depends on a lot of factors. And if being a homeowner, being a property owner, having your mortgage paid for, like why wouldn't you want your mortgage to be paid for? Why would you want to slave away and be trapped? A mortgage is considered, it means death grip, really. I think in Latin or something like that. It's that's the essence of the root words. So why would you want yourself to be gripped and trapped? Well, maybe because you're trapped with rent, right? Because California rents are so high. But the key difference is that you're providing a service when you're doing a fourplex, when you're doing a triplex, duplex, even. You're still providing a service. You're providing a place for people to live. Um, so ultimately, you're going to be paid for that. And people need to rent sometimes. They don't need to buy in your area because they are not going to be in your area forever. They just need to be in your area because of a job. So that's why rentals are great. And by having multiple, you reduce your risk. You don't have as much downside if one tenant doesn't pay. You have two more. Or if you're trying to get around those difficult laws with LA rent control and the LA landlord or the LA tenant boards and how they could potentially sue and all that. If you want to avoid long-term rents tenants, there's all sorts of other methodologies of rentals. So um, I'm gonna definitely get this video hashed out, re-uploaded on my social media here. And if anyone's watching, I would love to see your comments, see what takeaways you had from this session here. And again, $50,000 of net worth added to your life. It couldn't hurt you as long as you can afford the payment. If you're getting a little extra rental income, if you're getting any extra cash flow and paying your mortgage down and paying your interest off, then just think about where you're going to be in the next year. And I know it's scary. I know it's hard. I'm considering using this program right now, considering use it with a friend or maybe getting some investor money on this. But it's going to take some strategizing. So don't do it alone. Make sure you have the right team in place. Team USA Real Estate. That's the group I work with, and we got your keys. We got it all mapped out. What areas of Southern California you're going to get appreciation, where you're going to have, how you're going to know you're buying in a great place where it has a good job market, good location, regardless whether you're going to just be in a single family home, good job market, hospitals, new development construction is going to increase the value of your property. So don't do it alone, and don't do it with a team that doesn't know what they're doing. Again, I'm the marketing director. I can connect you with a real estate broker with 37 years experience. My dad's a financial advisor with 46 years in that industry as well. So I definitely want to package you guys with the utmost care and services and help your family, help you, help your spouse, help your kids, help any extended family that need help as well. So without further ado, I'm going to end this broadcast here. And went live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. And if there's anything you need help with, I'm going to leave my phone number here in the comments. You can send me text at odd hours, or you can give me a call on Thursdays and Fridays, and I would love to help you all. All right. Thank you so much, and stay tuned soon.